So if you don't know what happened recently, Techno privated a bunch of his old solo Skywars commentaries, his old Blitz videos, you know, a bunch of his old Golden Age content, I'd say. You know, the old days of Technoblade. And why? Because of some fucking K-pop stans, alright? Those damn fucking K-pop. I used to think they weren't that so bad, you know. I thought it was a bit of an exaggeration, that like a bit of an exaggerated hate for K-pop stans that people had. You know, like sure, they were annoying, right? Spamming their fan cams all over the place and bragging about how many views it got them. But here they are, you know, being total dickheads. Just harassing Techno. For what? Over a 4-year-old tweet. Alright? 4-year-old tweet. Techno's, like, what, 21? He would have been around 16 or 17 at this time. Harassing Techno for what he tweeted 16 when he was 16 or 17. And what was the tweet? Well, he tweeted, "Was
bad man
a lesbian?" Yes, they got offended over a tweet like this. And why? Why did they get offended? Because they thought he was calling lesbians
bad man.
All right, they thought he was calling lesbians
bad man
from a tweet that asked, "Was
bad man
a lesbian?" I don't know how delusional you can get. How do you get the fact that Techno was calling lesbians
bad man
from a tweet that asked if
bad
he
man
was lesbian? And for historical context, for giving the joke some context, it was made, you know, because historians theorized that
bad man
may have been more favorable to lesbians than he was gay people, you know. And so they made it out to be homophobic. I don't know how, but they did. Alright? And it's just ridiculous, man. That didn't end well. Like, sure, like maybe making light of
bad man.
You know, maybe that was a bit of insensitive. You know, I could understand where they came from in that regard. But the argument that he's homophobic for tweeting that is just absolutely ridiculous, alright? It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't see... You'd have to try to get offended by that. Oh. Oh. Hello. You are dead, sir. Most of these people are bringing in the argument that, you know, since you're not a Jew or you're not a lesbian, you can't really speak on behalf of Jews or lesbians on whether you're offended or not. And you can't speak on their behalf either. You can't be offended for them. Oh my god. This is, well, GG. Like, you have a right to be offended, right? That's totally understandable. Everybody has a right to be offended. But to be offended over something like this is just absolutely ridiculous. And being offended on people's behalves is even more ridiculous, right? Like, and this is Techno we're talking about here. The guy who has continually showed his support for the LGBT community, you know? Alright. That was kind of rude, man. This reminds me of the time where like he like saw that he had been called a sexist. Like, where do you even get these claims? Come here, boy. Uh-oh. Double trouble. Yeah. Don't challenge the king. But all these things he's being called. Homophobic? Sexist? Have you seen a sexist before? Have you met a homophobe before? These things, they're not techno. And I don't know why people are... It's just absolutely beyond my belief that people can be this stupid. Oh my god. Hey, hello, watchdog. And at the end of the day, it was meant to be a joke, even if it was a little, even if you might have felt like it was a little insensitive, right? Maybe it was to you, you know. Maybe it, you were hurt a little by this tweet, and you know that's fine, right? You're fine to be hurt over it, but you know, he doesn't owe you an apology, all right? At the end of the day, this was meant to be a joke. It was meant to be, you know, something to laugh at, right? And keep in mind, this is 4 years ago, all right? His humor has gotten a lot more PG, I'd say, right? You know, the whole orphan thing, like, yeah, it's a bit dark, but like, you know, it doesn't really hold any anything that you could, you know, it's just straight up like like a kind of playful, morbid kind of thing, you know. It's not like offensive or anything, it's just like morbid. But yeah, he's deleted a bunch of his old videos, and you know that really bothers me because those videos, those were some of the best, that was some of the best content that I've ever seen on this platform, you know. The classics are gone, man. The classics are gone. There's something that was they were actual art, and you know what? They were ruined by K-pop stans. And I hate to generalize them. Again, I hate generalizing them. But it's just become too much of a problem in their specific community, right? For me to not call it out to them specifically. Remember, since Hitler was an Austrian, that means all Austrians are bad. Alright? Yeah, alright? Yeah, because Hitler was... Because asking if Hitler was lesbian means that all lesbians are Hitler. It's just so stupid, man. And I want the videos back. You know, they were so fun to binge. You know, it frustrates me that they're gone now. And I don't want to be one of those people who are like, "Oh, you leftist snowflake. Oh, herder." No, like, yeah, you can be offended, but be offended over the right things, right? This is not something that you should be offended about, right? And I'm not here to... I can't say, like, what you should be offended about, but... You know, these are things that, you know... It's questionable what you find offensive about them, right? Like, he didn't call lesbians Hitler, alright? That's not what he said. It was just a harmless joke, right? Whether it was funny or not, that's up for you to decide. Personally, I don't think it was very funny, right? And I want to close this off by saying that if I ever do become big, and I probably won't, because of this kind of mentality, you know, I will not bend over for anybody in something like this, right? If I do something terribly wrong, like, you know, if I pull a Luke the Notable and start copywriting 100 Days, you know, like, if it's something like that, obviously I'll own up to it, right? You know? But if it's something like this, over my dead body, at the end of the day, it might feel like that, you know, content creators aren't affected by by being canceled, you know? It really feels like that sometimes, right? You know, it feels like it doesn't have any effect on them. But, you know, just through observing techno, you can tell that this goes beyond their whole career. It goes into their very mental health. All right. Look, I know I can't really say this, right? But it seems to me that techno isn't really the, you know, strongest person. I mean, he let these people get into his head, you know. And I just want everybody to remember that it's very important to be mindful of what you say to others online, even if you don't think that it'll have a detrimental effect on them. You know, like, you know, like it feels like techno is just such an untouchable character, right? You know, it feels like you'll never be able to hurt him in any way. You know, given his given the difference in status, I guess. Your follower count doesn't make you any more less susceptible to this kind of attack. And you know, just be mindful of others, all right? Please, be considerate. And you know, I understand where techno is coming from, right? You know, at times I feel pressured to delete some things. You know, I have a bunch of privated videos on my channel because I just look back on them and I kind of cringe. And I also feel like, you know, what if this joke that I made is gonna you know, be picked up, cherry picked out of context, and you know, what if this certain opinion that I said, like, what if it's misinterpreted? What if people don't get it? You know, and you know, these are the kind of things that you know, I'd upload a lot more if I didn't worry about these kind of things. You know, these whether anyone's offended or, you know. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Anyways, bye.